Would you say that this is a compact phone? Is 6.4 inches in 2026 considered as compact? We have a couple of stereotypes with compact phones. Compact phones underperform. Compact phones don't have the best camera systems. Compact phones have a problem with battery life. Well, I got some news for you. This is a Xiaomi 17 with 2 days of battery life, a Snapdragon 8 Gen 5 processor that rivals an iPhone 17 Pro Max, and a camera system in collaboration with Leica that gives you absolutely stunning photos. So what can we say about a compact phone in 2026 from Xiaomi? It's great. It's amazing. Alright, guys, this might be the most iPhone-like Android I have ever used. And I've got to be honest with you, I haven't used much Xiaomi devices lately. And the last time I used a Xiaomi device was about 6-7 years ago. It was totally different. They are saying that this is a compact phone. A 6.4 inch, I don't know if 6.4 inch can be considered compact. Maybe today's world in 2026 when we have the Pros, Pro Maxes, and the foldable phones that have 7-inch, 8-inch displays. Yeah, 6.4 inches can be considered as a compact phone. If you are considering on buying an Android device, or you are switching over from an iPhone and you don't know where to start, which model to choose, I tell you something, Xiaomi is doing the homework for you. They are building a phone that feels like an iPhone, that looks like an iPhone, and works like an iPhone. Let me start off with one sentence that I thought about during the 2 weeks I've been using this phone now. The Xiaomi 17 is a premium powerhouse with a mid-range price. And when you think about mid-range devices, you always think that there is something lagging, there's something missing from that phone. You always have to have a compromise. Well, I feel in this phone, you don't really have a compromise. So let's look at the unboxing process. When you get the phone, the box does not scream premium to you. The unboxing is quite simple. You get the phone, a cable, a case, yes, they include a case, and the usual paperwork. Apart from that, you have a screen protector already on the phone. The design, in the hand, it feels extremely close to an iPhone. Flat aluminum sides, very thin bezels, clean and minimal design. The build quality feels flagship, solid, and in my opinion, it feels super premium. Small complaint from my end would be that there is 8 antenna bands. 2 on the bottom, 2 on the side, other side, and 2 on the top. 8 in total, and in this color that I got, the review unit, it's very visible. I wish they would have chosen a different color to put here so it blends better. And I feel it very busy on the bottom with the SIM card slot, the USB-C port, and the speaker. But other than that, I have no complaints about this phone's design whatsoever. It feels great in the hand, curved edges, so it's not gonna hurt. After a couple of hours of use, you're gonna feel it very, very comfortable. It's quite light, and while 6.4 inches is called compact, let's be honest, it's not really that compact. It's not a small phone, but compared to today's devices, it can be considered as a small phone. But the screen, this is what makes it feel a level above a mid-range phone. It's a 6.4 inch LTPO OLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate. That means it's 1 Hz to 120 Hz adaptive refresh, meaning it has always on. Under the display, you have an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, which is super fast. I really appreciate that. It has Face ID with the camera, a small punch hole camera system up on the top. And the best part about this screen, it goes up to 3,500 nits. That's crazy flagship territory. That's super bright. Outside, you're not gonna have a problem with this phone. Inside, gorgeous colors. Very, very vibrant, but controlled. And the best part, the bezels are tiny and uniform all around the device. I love that we have uniform bezels around this device. It makes it feel even more premium than it should be. There's no visible pixelation. You have a 470 something ppi resolution over here, so you're not gonna see pixels, and is missing an anti-reflective coating. The fact that they already include a screen protector in the box on the phone already I'm fine with that. It has the ultrasonic fingerprint sensor, which is fast, it works well, it works with a slight touch, and it even works when your fingers are wet. And that can be useful because the phone has an IP68 rating, meaning you can have it 1.5 meters underwater for 30 minutes. So if you splash it or you accidentally fall into the pool with this in your pocket, you're not gonna have any problems. While the screen and the design is okay, this is not what makes a flagship a flagship. A flagship is performance, battery, and camera. So let's go in this order. First of all, performance. Snapdragon 8 Gen 5. I'm not gonna go around with numbers and bore you with that. I'll tell you my experiences from the past 2 weeks. It does whatever you want. I ran some Geekbench tests. In a single core performance, it gave me the same result as an iPhone 17 Pro Max. Yeah, this chip can deliver the same performance as an iPhone 17 Pro Max in single core. In multi-core, it was slower, but hey, this should be a mid-range phone, no? So it's still a fantastic result. Other than that, you have this chip in there. In my model, you have 512 gigabytes of storage and 12 gigabytes of RAM, meaning you open applications, it's snappy. You close it, you reopen it, things are still there. You can keep opening the applications, they're gonna continue where you left it off. So this does not break up your workflow, it doesn't need to reload things in the background, it just works. Now, while it does heat up quite a bit on the top right corner, it never goes over to like dangerous levels. It's fine. And the thermal performance is great, doesn't really throttle after just a short period of time, so you're not gonna see an effect on that with this phone. And because the performance is so great, and this chip is actually quite good at using energy, but also this phone has a 6,330 milliamp battery. The Chinese version actually has 7,000 milliamps, and this is the new silicon carbon batteries, not the lithium ion batteries, which means that in a small device, a thin device, you can pack a lot more punch. 6,330 milliamps is a lot of power. In my personal usage, I've used this phone heavily, a day and a half. I use this phone medium, normal, average usage, more than 2 days. And I've used this phone only just to make phone calls, a couple of text messages, and occasional browsing. 3-4 days. Also, I don't need to think about charging because when I do want to charge, it's 100-watt charging, wired, and wireless is 30 watts. So super quick. From 0 to 100, not 80 to 20. From 0 to 100, it charges up in about 2 hours. What else you need? You can get 50% in just 20-30 minutes. You don't really need to think about charging with this phone, and that made it a very comfortable phone to use day over day. Obviously, the battery is heavily integrated with the operating system, and this operating system does look very iPhone-like. If you look at the details, you look at, for example, your control center, it looks like the iPhone control center. You look at the weather app, it looks like the iPhone weather app. So a lot of similarities, but a lot of Android features that you don't get on an iPhone. And you have Gemini integrated. Xiaomi's Hyper OS works flawlessly, it's quick, it's a quite nice skin, it has vibes of an iOS 18 design mixed with an iOS 27 design, but it's trying to get its own unique character. All in all, the operating system I felt very snappy, very smooth. Thanks to God there's no advertisements in the operating system, or I haven't seen one as of yet. And that's where we get to the main aspect of this phone, is the cameras. Now this is a tri-camera system. 3 cameras, all of them are 50 megapixels. Again, I'll show you the details here and you can check the numbers and you can check the stats. I'll tell you my own experience with this phone in 2 weeks. The dynamic range in daylight is strong. Colors have that Leica punch, because obviously if you've seen the camera, you can see it's a Leica camera. It's on the box, it's over here, it has the small branding. Leica's partnership with Xiaomi continues, and you can see it in the photos. Some shots look absolutely fantastic and genuinely stunning. White subjects in harsh sunlight keep detail. I did a picture of my dog Odi with bright sunlight on him, and you can still see the details of the hair with the background clear. So it was a very hard dynamic range photo for the camera to do, and it did it quite good. Sky is not blown out, contrast looks dramatic in all of the photos. Now this is a characteristic of this camera. All of the photos tend to look a little bit more oversaturated, tend to look a lot more contrasty, meaning you get more dramatic photos. This is definitely like a Leica experience. Now in the camera app, you can actually choose between a Leica photo or Leica style or the Xiaomi style. And you can play around with that, whichever you like more. There is a definite process look overall in a couple of pictures. Sharpening can be slightly aggressive, skin smoothing is noticeable. So I did a couple of pictures of myself or some friends, and if you zoom in, you look at the photos and you look at the skin, you can see skin smoothing, which is kind of like the beauty filter. I feel that with this camera, you can do better photos than with an iPhone camera some of the time, and the rest of the time you can feel a little bit of processing going on in the background. These are just minor details. These are not gonna ruin your experience with the phone. These are super high quality, high resolution photos that you can work on afterwards. If you like these punchy photos, I think you're gonna fall in love with the quality of these pictures, especially if you view them on the phone's screen, which with its 3500 nits of brightness and beautiful color, I think is the best way to view those photos that you have just made. Okay, so this is the quality of the camera. 4K, or actually 8K at 30 FPS or 4K at 60 FPS. It can do log footage, and overall a very stable, good quality camera in my opinion. The selfie camera can do 4K at 60 FPS, and it's also a 50 megapixel sensor, so you're gonna have really good quality. And as you can see right now, I am walking, so the steps that I take is not really bothering. It's not doing much smoothing right now. I am actually quite impressed with the camera quality of the Xiaomi 17's selfie camera. It gives freedom. It has the Leica style photos. It gives a more contrasty picture for you, but in any other case, you can just, edit it in the background and remove the contrast, remove the saturation, and you can work with these photos. Especially if you shoot raw photos, you're not gonna have a problem. In the night, it's quite a strong camera. The night photos, I love them because they stay like night. They don't make a fake daytime photo like some of the cameras do in the industry. Highlights are controlled well, atmosphere is preserved, noise reduction is present but not overly destructive. The ultra-wide camera is a 0.7 times camera, and the telephoto camera is a 5 times optical zoom. All of the cameras do fantastic shots, although the AI in the background is working hard for you to get that. That's why sometimes you have a lot more detail in your photos, because it is upscaled with AI and is doing a fantastic job. The only thing it's not doing a fantastic job with is the text. If you have blurry text, it cannot recreate text that it cannot see, so it becomes gibberish. In this case, I think it should leave it more blurry. But other than that, small details become sharp, and it makes the picture feel a lot higher resolution, which is pretty cool. All in all, do I recommend this phone? I can say to you that if you want a compact phone, a 6.4-inch phone, which is kind of like a normal size, and you are maybe trying to move from iPhone to an Android, but you don't know where to start, then yes, then this phone is a perfect starting point to go into the Android world. The Xiaomi 17 is a fantastic base phone that feels like a flagship. Compact, but not really. You have a lot of screen real estate, super fast, super good performance, and there are not really any deal breakers. It runs like a flagship, lasts for 2 days, has a dramatic camera system, and if this is what a 6.4-inch compact phone is, then I'm super okay with that.